Today, we're going to learn how to free ourselves from the limiting beliefs that hold us back. It's like the elephant. That massive creature has colossal strength and can uproot an entire tree with just its trunk. But a thin little rope can keep it in place. Why is that? Well, the elephant stopped trying to break free a long time ago. The first time it was tied up was when it was just a baby, too weak to snap those ropes. It tried with all its might to get loose, but couldn't do it. And at that moment, the little elephant ended up tethered by the belief that escaping is impossible. That belief becomes stronger than any rope or chain. Lauren Weinstein had beliefs like that too. They kept her stuck in crappy jobs and awful relationships, but she managed to break free from those shackles. So how'd she do it? By not believing everything she thought. At age 6, Lauren was bold, outgoing, fearless. But as she grew up, that zest for life turned to shyness. That leadership became conformity. That bravery became fear. Despite her parents' best intentions, so many of us grow up with limiting beliefs. Lauren's mom tried giving her the perfect life, touching up her art assignments to make them better, later telling her when her choice of boyfriend or apartment wasn't good enough. Eventually, Lauren lost touch with what was right for her. She stopped trusting her voice, her abilities. She became afraid of being imperfect. Plus, she grew up in a pretty emotional family, so Lauren learned to stay quiet to keep the peace. She learned to be invisible. In school, she decided fitting in mattered more than standing out. Don't speak up, don't stand out, fear failure. Those were her shackles. And Lauren, if you've ever felt inadequate, alone, unwanted, unloved, invisible, powerless, those were your shackles too. Lauren realized she didn't trust herself, deferred to others' opinions, stayed silent when she should speak up, blended into crowds when she should stand out. She felt small, and her world shrank. Our beliefs have a powerful effect. Decades of social psychology research confirms this. Like that study from Dortmund College, they used makeup to give participants disfiguring facial scars, then sent them into a room to mingle, asked them to describe how people would react. But here's the twist. Right before going in, the researchers said they needed to touch up the scar makeup and just removed it entirely. So the participants went in with completely normal faces, thinking they had gruesome scars. Coming back, they said conversations didn't flow. People avoided eye contact. There was tension and discomfort, all because they believed they had scars. Their perceptions created that reality. Other studies show the same thing. Prime an Asian woman's ethnicity before a math test and she'll do better. Prime her gender and she'll do worse. Give someone a white coat and say it's a doctor's coat. They'll ace an attention test compared to being told it's a painter's smock. Our beliefs are like virtual reality goggles, making us see things that aren't there. Like models insecure about their looks, or award-winning author Lydia Yuknovich declining readings because she didn't feel worthy. Lauren was dating this guy, let's call him B, for a few weeks. They talked every day, then he went on a work trip, and silence for 4 days. How would you interpret that? What's the first thought in your head? Lauren polled her friends. 1. B met someone else. 2. He was upset Lauren didn't invite him as her date to an upcoming wedding. 3. They got too close too fast. Lauren was stumped, and those relations eventually fizzled out. Want to know what really happened? B had been deeply traumatized by past relationships and was terrified of getting hurt again, so he withdrew when his insecurities took over. Nobody even came close with their guesses. Let's go back to that scarring experiment. Imagine the researchers put something on the participants' faces to make them think they were gorgeous, and then removed it right before sending them out to mingle. How do you think that would have affected their perception of how others reacted? When Lauren started realizing her faulty beliefs, she signed up for this design thinking bootcamp course. She had to come up with innovative products with no one to give her the answers. There's no innovation through playing it safe. Warren had to want to screw up, want to be imperfect. The best creations only came after many failed attempts. She leaned into it and felt free, like she was 6 again. She realized those virtual reality goggles she'd been wearing, and those new beliefs faded away. New actions followed. She turned down a job offer at a law firm and started trying things she never would have before. She still feared messing up sometimes, and yeah, it happened. But Lauren didn't let it stop her. She still has shackles, but her goal is lessening them over time. To help with that, she reminds herself of one famous experiment. Teams of 4 were given 20 sticks of spaghetti, a yard of string, some tape, and marshmallows. Whichever team built the tallest freestanding structure in 18 minutes won, with the marshmallow on top. They did this with business students, lawyers, engineers across the world. Want to guess who consistently built the highest towers? Kindergartners. See, the other groups fixated on what they thought was the right solution, while the 5-year-olds just kept trying new tactics, experimenting, gathering data, and having fun. As kids, we live in a world of why not and I can't yet. But how could I? Lauren wants her talk to make you question what you've accepted up until now. Try realizing your own shackles. Comment below. What are your limiting beliefs? What do you think is holding you back from living a full life? The floor is yours. Don't be afraid to humble brag a little either. We all have room to grow and expand our horizons. Let's get vulnerable and call out those mental blocks keeping. There's nothing to fear in owning up to your limitations, by the way. That self-awareness is where the breakthroughs happen. Taking off those VR goggles of fear, doubt, and limiting beliefs. That's how you start really living life full throttle. Speaking of breakthroughs, let me hit you with one more quick example from Lauren's journey. Early on, she struggled hard with perfectionism. Every decision felt so weighty. Where to live, who to date, what job to take. She'd agonize for weeks, even months, terrified of making the wrong choice. Finally, a wise mentor pulled her aside and dropped this truth bomb. Lauren, there are no failures, only learnings. Make a choice, any choice, and then make a new choice based on what you learned. That's how you move forward. Mind blown, right? Such a simple reframe, but it shattered those restricting beliefs about having to get everything perfect out of the gate. From then on, Lauren embraced an experimental mindset, giving herself permission to mess up, pivot, and iterate. That's the core mindset shift we're talking about here. Once you loosen the white-knuckle grip on your limiting beliefs, you open up vast galaxies of possibility. Things you never even considered or thought you could do suddenly become options to explore. So, let's hear it. What narratives are keeping you stuck? What disempowering stories are you telling yourself about your potential, your worth, your capabilities? Don't censor it, just let it rip. Shining a light on those beliefs is the first step to dismantling them. I'll go first to get us started. For years, I bought into the belief that speaking up, asserting myself, actively self-promoting, those things made me an arrogant jerk. So I played small and shy instead. Trashed so many opportunities because of that nonsense narrative. But you know what? Being boldly, unapologetically self-confident doesn't make you a jerk at all. It makes you a whole person who knows their value and isn't afraid to take up space in the world. That's the true arrogance, shrinking yourself to make others comfortable. All right, who's next? What fictional stories have you been telling yourself that aren't actually true? Let's expose those suckers to the light of day so we can all start slaying some internal dragons. You in?